You need to reparent yourself. I know that sounds quite harsh, but you need to reparent yourself. You haven't got the toolbox to be able to deal with your emotions. When you get faced with hardships in your life, when you get dealt with a job loss, heartbreak, anything in your life, you go into defense mode, combativeness. You go into avoidantness. You go into reacting in a way that doesn't benefit you whatsoever. And that is not the way that you are trying to be. I know you're not, because that's why you're on this video. So by the end of this video, you're going to be getting little tips and tricks for you to actually apply into your life that are going to help you. So hopefully this video isn't that long, but I'm going to get into what is it, what it means to be parented, how to parent yourself, and why it's necessary, and why you might feel like this video is needed for you, because you might be watching this and you might also be a bit confused if this video actually relates to you. But this pretty much relates to everyone. Any person on this earth, it probably relates to them. So let's get into it. My name is Aaliyah, by the way. So if this is the first time here, hello. I talk about all things manifestation, mindset, self-development, personal development, all of that good stuff. So if you like that type of content, I would love to have you here. So let me know that you're here. Hello. So, parenting yourself. In the most basic standard way of defining what parenting yourself is essentially you have a primary caregiver, whether that's your mum, your dad, both of those parents, you have your grandparents, sisters, a foster parent, whoever it is, you were parented in a certain type of way. This toolbox that you now have was a toolbox that your once mum had, or your dad had, or your grandparents had. This toolbox has now been passed through generations, essentially. It's been added to, it's been taken away from, and it's now landed in your lap. Now, you probably look at your toolbox, it might be emptier than others, and it might be more full than others. But depending on how full your toolbox is, depends on how many things you have to be able to deal and maneuver in life. Unfortunately, some of us, most of us, didn't get the exact tools that we need to go through life. Mentally, physically, emotionally, in any other way possible. We just don't have the ability to be able to deal with our emotions, to deal with our mental capacity, to be able to deal with circumstances, experiences that might be negative, positive, in any which way. We just don't have the tools to be able to deal with it. And that's no hate to our parents, but it's just how they were. That's how they, that's how they live life with that toolbox, and they just made do. Whereas for you, if you want to increase, if you want to improve in life, if you want to progress and evolve in life, you have to become a person that is going to be calm in the storm, calm in the chaos. You have to be someone that can deal with their emotions in a way that is inspirational. So you can be the person that is the rock, essentially. So how do we know if you don't have the tool, right? If you find yourself in situations where now you have an odd situation occurring in your life, like, I don't know, a heartbreak, or, you lost your job, or you, I don't know, like, you put on a couple of pounds and you look at yourself in the mirror and you hate yourself. These situations, they are stimuli, right? There's something that's outside of yourself that you're looking at. You then experience this thing, and the reaction that you give from it indicates whether or not you have to reparent yourself or not. Like, you might go into defensiveness. You might go into being combative. You might go into attacking people. You might shut down completely. You might go into an anxious rut. You might just go into a depressive rut and not leave your bed for 5 days. These things are a way of you coping, because you were not given the tools to be able to cope with these things when you were younger. So you've now became this thing. This has become your identity. This is the way that you have now gone through life, and as an adult, as a young adult, whatever age you are, is now, this is how you use it to be able to deal with these things. Heartbreak, you might just lock yourself in the room. That's not necessarily healthy, one, and it's not necessarily progressive for you to be able to go into that rut. So most people have this, even I've had this, okay? But acceptance, first of all, is the biggest thing. Honesty with yourself is the biggest thing that's going to allow you to move forward. So if you reached this far, let me know right now, like, comment below, like, if you have, experienced these situations and you've not necessarily reacted in a way that you feel proud of, or reacted in a way that is necessarily healthy and that you want to change. So give me a thumbs up, give me something, let me know you're here, because I want to know you're here, okay? So how do you reparent yourself? How do you go forward and start to reparent your life. You have to be your own parent. Funnily enough, you have to become your own parent. And the only way you can do this is when these situations occur. Let's just say the next time your friend calls you and she says, oh, I've been out with XYZ person, and you feel quite hurt, you feel abandoned, right? You have to sit down and imagine a version of you that is 6 or 7, right? A younger version of you. Not young like teenager, like young as in like toddler, or like younger than that, right? Or older than that, maybe like 5, 6, maybe up to like 10, I would say. Imagine them next to you. Imagine them on the seat that's opposite you. Imagine them laying next to you in the bed. And talk to them as if they are there. One. And also talk to them as if they are your child, okay? So you want to talk to them in a loving, compassionate way, in a way that's going to make them feel safe and secure in their environment. You have to make them feel good about themselves. And in that situation, what you have to do is you have to respond as if it is you right now. Okay, so imagine it's your younger sister. If you have younger siblings, imagine it's your own child. Imagine it's you, right? And let them speak freely. Ask them questions, right? And obviously it's going to be you responding, you right here, right now, because there isn't actually another person talking to you. That would be kind of weird. But it's going to be you responding and you responding back. So it's going to be a conversation with yourself. So make the room, make the environment nice, make it calm, have a little cup of tea, have something there that's going to make you feel a bit safe. So make the environment nice so you feel a bit more comfortable. And ask them the question. Ask them questions like, what are you feeling right now? And let this part of you, the first instance, maybe something's not going to come up, right? Because it's a bit of an odd thing to be doing this, right? But let it come up, let it bubble up, and let it just reveal itself to you. You're going to find that this version of yourself is going to start speaking to you in a way where you're going to see it speak about its emotions, and the anger is going to come up. You might start crying. You might start feeling very, very aggravated. You might start feeling frustrated, but you have to finish the process, okay? You hear it say, you know, like, I'm really upset, I'm really angry, I'm really annoyed. It's making me feel X, Y, Z. And then you talk back to it as if you would a child, consoling the child, right? Well, let's actually look at this situation from a third person perspective. Is it really necessary for you to be doing this? Does this really need your energy? And then respond back. Yeah, but it's really, really annoying, right? Respond back to it as if you are genuine. It might take you 30 minutes. It might take you 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. But just go along the process as if you are a kid, right? And go into like, oh, so how are you feeling? What emotions are these bringing up for you? What is this telling you? How does this make you feel? And you're going to start seeing that parts of you are telling you, this makes me feel insecure. This makes me feel like I'm not loved. This makes me feel like I'm not deserving. This makes me feel like I'm not worthy. This makes me feel like I'm never going to get love ever again. Those parts are the most crucial things because they're going to be the indicators inside of yourself that are still unhealed. So then you ask your little self, right? Your child, your inner child, whatever you want to call it. And you start asking them like, okay, so what would you want from this situation right now? What do you want? Do you want to, I don't know, do you want to go have ice cream? Do you want to have a shower? Do you want to have some skincare? Do you want to put on makeup? Do you want to go for a walk? What is it that you want that's going to make you feel better? And then you go do that. And after this situation, you might not necessarily feel a lot better. You might not necessarily feel great, right? You might feel a bit awkward. You might feel a bit weird considering you've just done something that you've never done before. But what it does is mentally, you've now started to give yourself the tools. You've given yourself the space to be able to talk to yourself freely. You're not hiding away your emotions. You're not being avoidant. You're not being combative because there's no one to be combative with. You can't argue with yourself, right? So you have to be honest with yourself. And when you're now bringing up these emotions in a space where you feel safe, right, with yourself, you now can express yourself in a way where you don't feel those perceiving eyes on you from your parents, right, when you were younger. You don't feel that urge of like, okay, I need to hide this because my mom's going to get angry. You don't need that. You can just do it freely in the comfort on your own room and do it calmly in a place that's safe. And what this gives you is it gives you the ability to build that toolkit. Because now when you face that exact same situation again, you might feel those same emotions, but now you know what to do. That is the toolbox. Like, that is the toolbox. The toolbox is you talking to yourself as if you are a mother to yourself, to the younger version of you. The parts of you that get triggered are nothing crazy. The parts of you that get triggered is like the baby version of you. That's literally it. The parts of you that are normal, that go about and do your day, go grab coffee, go to work, is the normal adult version of you. But the person that gets annoyed, that gets frustrated, that gets triggered, is a baby version of you, is a child version of you that can't handle those big emotions. So you have to help that little version of you deal with those emotions. And these things, this one task that you do, right, is going to give you the ability to actually delve deeper into yourself. You're going to then know about all the emotions you're feeling. You're going to know about the emotions that are triggering you, whether it's financial, emotional, spiritual, whatever it might be. You're going to start delving deeper into it, which is then going to start dissipating all of those triggers to one point when the situation occurs again, it's not even going to affect you anymore, because you've dealt with it so much that it doesn't affect you anymore. It doesn't trigger you anymore. And then guess what? You don't have to deal with that thing in ever again. Like, you're not at a state now where you have to be scared of telling anyone, because you're telling yourself. And this gives you a reliance on yourself like no other, because this means that you don't need to go to another person. You don't need to go to your man or your woman or your husband or your wife or your mum or your dad. You don't need to go to them with these issues anymore. You can definitely speak to them about it, but you don't need to go to them to deal with it, because you've got the tools to be able to deal with it yourself. And that gives you so much control over your own emotions. You can then start being accountable for your emotions, start being communicative about your emotions, about the way you're feeling. And this gives you more deeper emotional connections with people, with friends, right? But in a way where you can now feel safe to express them, especially to yourself, because you're the one that matters in this. So if you find that you haven't been parented well, majority of you probably watching this probably haven't, I hope that this helps. I intend that this helps. Because when I first started doing this, it was the most oddest thing. I'm telling you right now, it was the most oddest thing to do. But one thing it did give me was a sense of completeness. It healed a part of me that I didn't ever think that could be healed. And once this part healed of mine, I kid you not, my relationship with money, my relationship with men, my relationship with friends, my relationship with family completely changed and evolved into something so much better. So I